guys, welcome back to my reptile channel. How can I help you? Today we are going to be building one of my girls' new reptile enclosures. So she has outgrown her 40-gallon, which I will show you soon, and I will also show you her. Her name is Nagini, and she is a champagne bumblebee ball python, and I will show her to you after I do a bit of the building of this tank. I don't want her around while I'm banging the pieces in. But you ready? Yeah? Okay. Goes me, sir. So this tank here is basically, ignore the towel, it's coming out shortly, is basically this tank. It is from Dubia, and it's a 4x2x2, a 120-gallon tank. So this is my difficult boy. He has been giving me issues on consistently eating. So still figuring him out. Could be a ton of different reasons, but that'll definitely be a conversation piece in another video, especially when I do a video about him. But that's what the tank will look like once it's built. So I also have another one for my blood python, and his setup is completely different on the inside. So you guys will definitely get to see every single setup, because I have done it different for every single. And then the tanks that you could see on top of that other already built Dubia is a 4x2x1. So I have bought it off of Facebook Marketplace, which is another place you can kind of get like the hand-me-down tanks if you want something a little more affordable, or if you're just starting and you want something just to start testing out tanks. I mean, I got that tank when I was trying to look for 4x2s, and this is before I got my whole massive amount of snakes. And I had found that one, and I questioned whether it was one whole tank or it had looked like it was two tanks in one. And with that tank, it's a 2-in-1, if you were able to see how there were two different setups. So it's only 1 foot high because the person had built it themselves, and he basically had split a 4x2x2 in half. And I think he said it was for boas. I can't even remember what he said he used to have. And in all my tanks, well, except my blood python, but in all my ball python tanks, I have radiated heating panels, which I will show you when we get to that portion to install it on this tank. But basically, you could start off at any size of tank when they're tiny. So the best option when you're getting a ball python is when they're tiny and just babies, you can go small so they can feel secure. You want to cover the space and give them hiding places, because the bigger the space, the more insecure they feel, and it can also stress them out, because, you know, out in the wild, predators, they'll feel out in the open and like they're in danger. So as babies, small is fine. And then, of course, as they grow, you're going to want to upgrade to fit them. So I'll continue my little story on Nagini in a second. Let me show you what this looks like once you finally get the box open. So here you have all the setup. This is the top of the tank, and basically the bottom of the tank is at the bottom of this whole box, creating one whole sealed piece, keeping everything together. If you hear any noises, it's my son, but as I've stated before, this is going to be a nice little family channel to show you how reptiles are a great family pet. You can teach your kids to enjoy them, not fear them, and, you know, grow together with the reptile. It all takes just like how you learn as an adult. Your child can also learn. So I never leave him alone with any of the snakes. I do not let him unless supervised, and if I trust the snake, depending on their temperament, I do not let him take them out himself. I obviously go in there myself to make sure how their temperament is. Are they okay? So that way, at least if they're moody or they choose to strike first in the moment, they would strike me instead of striking him. So I do everything so that way, just be careful, puppy. I don't want you to get cut, okay? Hold on, you can help me, but it's heavy. You gotta hold on, okay? Just hold on. So I don't. Yeah, you're gonna help me and give me. Yeah, no. You had cut. You cut yourself the last time.
That's why I did got my.
So you gotta be careful. Yes. So with these, before I get back to explaining that this is a PVC tank, but it also feels like with the base, it's metal. So it's very, I wouldn't say sharp, because here I can glide my fingers on it and not cut. But I don't remember what he was doing the last time, but he had swiped his finger just right. I don't remember if it was a corner, and he ended up cutting himself. But so just be careful when you go to build yourself. Just be careful with it, especially with your little ones if they're gonna help you. Just wash their fingers. Hold on, puppy. These are the glasses. As you can tell, they tape it all together. Hold on, puppy.
Sorry, Mommy.
Okay. Just hold on. Okay. Woo! Hold it. Hold on to it for a second. Mommy's gonna move the box. So yeah, like I was saying, I'm not gonna say I've never been struck at, because that would not be true. My first snake, which was Nagini, I've had her since March and have grown my inventory since then.
Mommy.
And I had, I was, for a certain amount of time, have been able to say I was never struck at. now I can say I've been struck at. So, Nagini has struck at me 2 or 3 times. Of course, they've all been in food mode, which is something I'll explain what that means. And then you can toss it over there. Okay, now step back. Scoot back, I should say. Come over here. There you go. This is the base piece to the tank. So this will be your base once you peel off your plastic covering. And then these pieces are your corners that you start to install. Now, the one way I'm remembering off the top of my head from building, because it's been a month, I think, since I built that one, is these 2 little bars here. Build your substrate barrier that is here. So they go in the front, and you want this piece on the bottom because you will have a bar that will come across. So we will do that. But before I start the hammering, because that will get loud, watch your feet because you got hair.
Sorry, Mommy.
Okay. Then my blood python has struck. It was twice in the same day. I don't know if it was with how fast I was moving back and forth. He was new with us, and maybe it was because I was running back and forth doing his tank while my husband, Mr. Cameraman here, was holding him. And I saw the behavior, and as I was staring at him watching the behavior, he struck and lunged at me. There was no contact because there was distance between us, but I did scream because I was staring, concentrating really hard, watching his behavior and his movement, which is another conversation we'll have when we get to blood pythons and about him. And as I was watching, and right when my mind triggered, he's gonna lunge, he did it, and it kind of made me scream. So he did that twice as I was completing his tank, and he's not struck since. So I would say he's gotten used to us, but it can happen, and I'm prepared for it. It's gonna happen. And like I said, Nagini has struck at me 2-3 times, but it's all been food mode. But let me hammer these, and then I'll continue the conversation. So you're gonna wanna use the hammer that comes with the tank. And there's really no direct end that they tell you to use. So I've kind of just flip-flopped on whichever way I grab the hammer. But we can use the black. And I'm gonna start hammering this piece in first until it's flush to the bottom of this tank here. And then just be prepared. You'll get like kind of little shavings. Watch your feet. You're getting hair.
Sorry, Mommy.
Okay.
Sorry, it's not salty.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Watch your feet because you're getting hair in the tank. Cover your mouth.
Sorry, Mommy.
It's okay. You'll get little tank shavings as you hammer this in. So, since I don't have a tank with me, I'll put these little shavings here. Even though I could vacuum again, but if the dogs decide to try and wander around me at any moment, I don't need them eating the shavings. Don't try and stick it, puppy, because you put it wrong.
Sorry, Mommy.
You gotta put it back. Turn it the other way.
Sorry, Mommy.
This way.
Sorry, Mommy.
Go ahead, put it down.
Sorry, Mommy.
It's okay. And I'm just checking as I hammer that it became flush to the corners at the bottom before I move on. That one doesn't go there, puppy. It goes to the front. So now with those other back pieces that don't have that little jutted out piece, you want to make sure that the inner corner is sticking. Look up. This
Sorry, Mommy.
inner corner
Sorry, Mommy.
is inside your tank. You want it facing in because this is where your walls are gonna go. You ready?
Yes. Sorry.
You're fine. Upside down.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. You don't need to say sorry for everything.
My fault.
You don't need to say sorry for everything.
Shouldn't you put the plastic thing first?
Well, at least I could still stick it. Okay. No, leave it.
Sorry, Mommy.
Okay.
Sorry, Mommy.
You don't need to say sorry for everything. I'm just telling you. Okay. So now this piece is the bar I was talking about that will create your substrate barrier. But before I put that in, sit down.
Sorry, Mommy.
You don't have to say sorry for everything.
Okay.
Okay. This that's inside, you can bend it. It's flexible. You're gonna want to start. You're just gonna bend it a little towards you and start pulling it out from in here, because you'll see that it was in the bars here being held. This is the substrate barrier glass. Don't think it's actually glass, not sure, but okay, that sounded a little like glass. You're gonna want to peel.
How long do?
What?
How long do?
Throw it over there. Give me a second as I scrape a corner to get this started in peeling. Okay, found one. when I first got these tanks. So I should say when I first got these tanks from my blood python, I questioned whether the piece was peelable. Because in a video I looked up to first build these, it didn't really explain too much about peeling both sides off of these. So I didn't realize there was another piece to peel. I thought it was just one. So it was pretty funny when I finished installing the whole thing and had to sit there trying to peel off the plastic. So there is 2 plastic covers. I am going to insert this first because it does become difficult, as you can tell, if you were to try and insert it after. Because with these jutted out, scoot over. Okay. Because with these jutted out pieces, you can't just slide the glass in. And then once you put this barrier that creates the substrate barrier, you can't slide the glass in. So before hammering your last corner, which my husband reminded me, which in all honesty, I probably would have hammered quite a bit of it in before even installing it. So he did remind me to not hammer it just yet, to leave it loose, because then you are going to want to hammer.
I want him. Okay.
You're going to have these pieces. So I'll just take this piece out for a second. You're going to have this. And then that just goes on top of the glass. And then you'll have, let me see. It's not really going in much. Trial and error, trial and error. Watch your foot, because I'm going to use this to hold the tank. You're going to want to hammer the side in, and then I've done it my other way. I didn't struggle this much before. Watch your hand.
Sorry.
Excuse me. And then you'll just want to do the same on this side. And then you're gonna wanna make sure that it is flushed from the front, that the bar is all the way in, touching the wall piece here. Now, at least these are kind of the easy parts. Okay. Excuse me.
Sorry. Sorry.
You don't have to say sorry, puppy.
Okay.
Okay. There it is. Okay. So I know I said this has the glass, but then I also just remembered it also has your wall panels. So we're gonna
Are you okay, Mommy?
yeah. I was hoping that would have had a better hold. That's okay. At least my knee was there so it did not hit the floor. And with this one, alright. So these are your two front sliding glass doors and your two side panels. And this one's gonna be your big back wall piece. So again, you're gonna wanna peel.
I will pee.
So dubia static. Gotta make sure my face is out the way because it would be me that it would come back and smack me in the face. But with dubia, they do have, I think they also have white, but I like black. Now the dog hair is getting stuck to the wall, all this static. Okay, so then you are gonna wanna try whether you have someone help you. I did this on my own the first time. And then of course the second time I struggled like living hell getting the wall pieces into here. Wait.
Sorry, Mommy.
It's okay. You just gotta make sure it goes down together.
Okay.
Okay. Wait. There's glass in there. Okay.
I'm sorry, Mommy.
Okay, excuse me.
I'm sorry, Mommy. Be sorry.
Puppy, you don't need to say sorry. I am just telling you.
Okay. What happened, Mommy?
Just a little buggy.
Ew.
Oh, 'tis the season.
Let me check.
I don't know. One of these. It's gone now. Get my icky toes out of the way. Okay, so the next piece you're gonna want to work on, sit back a little bit. Is just break the bag.
Oh no, it's stuck.
Well, tape's gonna do it for me. I'm just gonna tape off all the covering on this glass door. Set that gently there.
Sorry. My fault. My fault, Mom. I'm sorry.
So I'll put this one on this side so you guys can still see.
When
And
do
this
it?
panel is gonna go Can you
Sorry. I'm sorry. Sorry, Mommy.
It's funny how my one tank comes in perfect, and then my next two come in with just a little bit. So if that happens where the piece won't go in and there's a slight defect in the metal, it's easy to fix. Okay. You just whether you use pliers, a screwdriver, scissors, whatever. And you're just gonna wanna kind of straighten out the metal. Wasn't as bad as that one where I accidentally broke a little piece of the corner that's inside this metal. So there's no hole or opening, so I got lucky there, but it was was my fault because I didn't realize that it was bent when I was trying to get it in. And I had pushed it in a little too far, and as I tried to get it out and it was stuck, I broke a little corner piece off. So luckily there's no hole or anything that affects the tanks. You don't need to apologize for everything. So, as you can see, this puppy, you're okay. You're okay. You're fine. You're okay. So as you can see, this is a good little activity if your kid is really into, you know, the whole reptile thing, or his first pet, his or hers first pet. They're into it. It's a nice little thing to do together, to build and put together. Because even though you may not have gone to Home Depot and bought the pieces and built it by scratch, you're still putting it together. You're still building. And, you know, you still feel like you did something for your new friends. Just do the same repeat on this. There, or throw it over there, creating a nice little trash pile over there. Peel. Sit in front of you guys so you can see the final processes once we install this last panel here. So let me forgot the screwdriver for the panel. Okay, so we're gonna got the screwdriver. Got the rest of the stuff. We're gonna, want to make sure the holes are at the back of the tank, because the holes are for, this one too, are for your wires. So if you have anything like lights, the radiated heating panel, which I will show you shortly when we install that here, You know, you want the wires to come out of the tank. Otherwise, you won't be able to plug them in. Nice and snug. Just pushing the corner back to make sure that there's nothing sticking out that she can, you know, get her on. Okay. So, well, I'm going to show you guys first, because with these tanks, you need to seal them. Unlike other tanks, like when you buy them from the pet store, or there are some other tanks that you can buy that are already pre-sealed, that you don't have to seal it yourself. And what I mean by sealing is because these snakes, and I can't speak for every snake, but majority of the snakes that I've thought of ever owning, you need to stick with humidity, which will be another video where I can speak about what you need and what to get when you want to get your first snake. Right now, I kind of just wanted to show you what to do on building one with me. So when you go to build up the humidity, you need to wet it. You need to pour water. Me, I use a sprayer, like the herbicide sprayers. So I have I think it's a gallon size, and I fill it. It helps me spray all 5 of my tanks, plus my 2 crested geckos, which in the other video I showed you on building one of my Cresties tanks. She's a new one we received, and or not received, but we got her at the show, and it helps me, and I barely have to refill it when I do all 5 of the snake tanks. If I have to, I might pour and fill a little more water when I'm going to do all their tanks. I might put a little more water into it. Other than that, it literally in one sitting helps me do all their tanks, so that way I'm not running back and forth to the sink with a cup. So that helps a lot without me having to run back and forth. But to each their own. Not everyone wants to use a sprayer, and that will be another conversation on things to do. One of my girls decided to come out and say hi. Every day you're by her tank, she thinks it's feed day. She's a little fat girl. Okay. So with the sealant, it's very strong smelling, and I don't want that on my fingers all day, every day until it disappears. So I work in a hospital, so I brought gloves home. So when I know I'm going to do a new tank, I bring a few gloves home. So I'll show you the bottle that I use. I, of course, also had gotten it off of another YouTuber since, again, I never knew how to do this myself, so I watched other people, and, sorry, itchy. I swear by this stuff, and I can honestly, if you watch review videos, to each their own. Everyone has opinions, choices, their own reviews. Me personally, I swear by these Dubia tanks. My blood python, ever since he's been in it, his demeanor, like how I said, he struck at me in the beginning. Blood pythons, another conversation, are very vocal. So he used to be very vocal. Now, I barely hear him hiss when I go and try and interact with him or touch him. So he's been so happy in his Dubia, and perfect on point environment with the humidity, the heat. You know, I'll discuss about his enclosure in another one, but I don't know if you guys saw him in the hole over here, one of my dogs. So this building is actually now what I'm gonna swear by, that has been working so far for me. So the tank behind here that I showed earlier in the video was the experiment. I wanted to know how it would work so I could stack my tanks if I did a radiated heating panel in a full-sized 4x2x2, because in these smaller ones here that I said are 1 foot high, he had already put radiated heating panels in those tanks. So, I mean, nothing I can test there except replacing them if they were to ever go bad, since he had them first. Now, what do you have? Thank you. So, I wanted to test what it'd be like in these tanks that I love, having a radiated heat panel. And it's had his temperature on point, humidity, again, has been perfect. I've been able to hold perfect humidity for a ball python, since it's different to a blood python, but it's been perfect. I wanted to experiment and see what it'd be like for the ball pythons, and I mean, he loves it. He explores, and I know he's exploring since I don't see him, because his plants are always knocked over, and so are his thermometers. But tomorrow I'm actually gonna post a video on completing this tank, because we will make her home officially. So I'll be able to talk all about the humidities and decorations and substrate. I'll explain everything in the video for tomorrow on making their full. I may have to cut that out, but this is the silicone that I use to seal. So I don't use the white, but it was the only one we could find when we bought his tank. So this is leftover from the little bit I used to complete his tank. I buy the clear one just so that way when you're cleaning you don't see it and it's all clear. The blood pythons was done with a clear silicone, but if you like white, great. I preferred the clear, but hey, I wanted his tank done. I don't care about white or clear, just as long as they had it. So this one here almost looks like it's kind of like a cursive H, but I'll show you. And it's 100% all-purpose silicone, waterproof. Make sure you get 100% waterproof. So I will show, make sure it's perfectly in the front here. That's the bottle. And then, like I said, you can get the clear one if you prefer clear sealing for the tank. But this one's white because it was the only one they had for me to complete the last tank. So I think I just need to pop out this plug. This is gonna be trial and error until I get the silicone out. So excuse me until I make sure that it's out. I will let you know once I get it out. I might just shove this in here, just kind of pop it open. Oh, clean that. So like I said, it's strong smelling. It's, geez, I hope I don't have to go and buy a new bottle. That would kind of stink. Oh, okay. Well, anyway.
What happened, Mommy?
Because there's more of a plug in it.
Stuck in it?
It was stuck and now sprayed.
And
It's
then
okay.
just
She
glue?
will have a colorful bottom.
Let me smell it.
It won't do anything to her.
Smell.
So you're gonna wanna seal the corners. Now remember, I said that this thing stinks, it smells. So you are gonna wanna make sure you are in an open area.
Where's the glue? Man, it's getting all way down.
And you wanna do top and bottom.
Ooh. Try.
And it looks like I should have gotten another bottle. Looks like I'll be running off to the store. But you kind of get the gist. All right, this is
Kind of weird.
done there. So since I'm gonna have to run and get a bottle just to kind of finish, leave that alone. You're gonna wanna
I'm sorry, Mommy.
just take your finger
Yes, Daddy, sorry. Take your finger.
and you're gonna wanna
Yes, Daddy, sorry. Can I use this finger in it?
and smooth it out. And make sure you cover the bottom barrier. There's like this line that you'll feel here, like a lip. And you're gonna wanna make sure
like that. Look, mommy.
okay, but you're not touching it.
Yes, mom. Are you trying touching it?
Yes, I'm spreading it.
Okay.
So when it comes to this tank, it all depends on you as a person. Do you wanna, you know, work and put this together, or do you want one that's already pre-sealed? For me, I enjoy the work. It gives like the extra fun in doing something for my newfound little friend. Look at that. I don't have to go to the store. So you just wanna go around covering those little ledges. I didn't do as well this time of keeping the silicone off the glass, but I will. Doesn't matter. I always like to do a little finger smell check because I hate the smell of the silicone. It's really strong. But okay, so everything is covered 24 hours and it'll be dry, sealed. This is my third time doing it, so I already know 24 hours, you touch it, it's already dry and sealed. I pretty much just leave it doors. I think I left one side open. With dog hair, I always flip it around so that way no dog hair gets inside. I am gonna show you, because we can't put the doors in until the heat panel is on. So let me show you this radiated heat panel. And how to put it on. So first, you're gonna wanna check the top to see which one would install your doors. So now, you're gonna see the double tracks right here. This is where your doors go. So this will be the front of your tank here. So you are gonna want, it's your preference where you want the hot side. Do you want it on the left? Do you want it on the right? Either way, you're gonna have a hot side and a cold side. Dive more into depth in tomorrow's video when we build her new little home. So my preference, I am going to put, because I'm going to stack my blood python's tank on top of hers. His is on the right side, his hot side. So just so that way his cold side doesn't get affected as he sits on top of her, I am going to put the hot side on the same side. So that way he will still have his nice cold side. So I'm going to put, like I said, the right side. So when you flip this, it's gonna be here. So that way the panel can fit, we're gonna take this bar off. So, thank you. Did I put the screwdriver on the floor over there? I think I did, right? No? Okay. Thank you. Okay. So we're gonna take this bar off. Forgot this was a magnet. I think we kept the bar to the last tank, but in all honesty, I think I'm gonna throw them out since I'm keeping the panels, since it works. And you can't have this bar. Okay. And you can't have this bar when you're gonna put the panel. So I think I'm gonna take the other bar from his tank and we're just gonna throw them out as well. But I will set this down in the corner for now. You know what? This is just from when we had went to a show in Virginia. The nice gentleman who I bought the panel for my experiment off of, he was nice enough and actually gave us spare bolts. I think even spare screws. I can't remember. No, I think the screws were just what came with the panel, but he gave us a different screw just in case, so we can test what would be better. And I'm glad he gave us extra bolts, because if not, I would have had to go to the store and buy when we went to the recent show in Indiana and bought this panel for Nagini. So, just so that way I don't drop these little screws. This is gonna be garbage anyway, so I will drop them in there. Put this up here. Okay, so the radiated heat panels. I don't know what brand the other gentleman was using that I said that came with the other 4x2s, but the one that I bought from the two shows have been Vivarium Electronics. I did want to buy a different panel that was from someone else, but at the time it was sold out, and I was always curious if it would be at the shows, because sometimes, honestly, the reptile expos, you can get a lot of things for cheaper. Whether it's the food, the decorations, heating supplies, they'll even sell tanks. Sometimes there's people who build the tanks and sell them, and you can even get the tanks for cheaper. But of course, they're not big like this, and I wanted big. I didn't want another one of these 1 foot tall ones. But so far, these two are satisfied and love it, so I'm leaving them alone. But with everyone else who needed a new tank, I want my big ones. I love the big ones, and I wanted my 2 foot tall. So the Vivarium Electronic, it's been working great for him in his tank. So I bought another one when I saw it at the show. Alright. So it will come, as you see, another packet. So it'll come with its own screws. It will not come with the bolts. The bolts are something you gotta buy separate, and you'll have to take the screws with you so you can get the right size. The bolts are little teeny tiny. I don't know the size since the gentleman had given it to us. He had tested it out to see if it fits, and he gave it to us. So I don't know what the size is. I didn't have to go and buy them. But when you, okay, that didn't go in my hand. So when you buy the heating panel, it comes with, you know, the wire, the screws, and the panel. So this, little warning, but so this is what the panel looks like. Basically, it feels like plastic. It's simple, lightweight, so it will not be dragging this down or super heavy that you gotta worry whether this little mesh is even gonna hold it. This is nice, and as you can see, 2 fingers, super lightweight. Now, it comes with holes, however the wording is. It already has the holes for the screws in them. So it has 2 here, 1 up here, and your power cord is back here. Now, personally, I want the power cord like this. So remember how I mentioned you can't have the bar? The bar was right here. It's not gonna fit. Even if you wanted this long ways, just to show you, you cannot screw this corner because it hits your metal barrier here. So it does not sit flush to the mesh. I tried just so I could have kept the bar because I was concerned about stability, everything. Like the bar must hold the stability, right? But that has been perfect. No issues. The tanks have been sitting perfect on it. So again, we are gonna stick and I left little space in the back so that way when you put the wire, you have enough space when you go to plug it, so that way you can just flush it when you try to zip tie it. I won't be showing the zip ties. I don't have zip ties on me, so that's more stuff I just need to get when I go to complete, because I also need to change his around for his wire. But it's just to secure it so that way they don't hang themselves on it. And I don't mean hang like choking. I mean so they don't try to climb it and use it like it's a hammock and a climbing tool. Because at the same time, you don't want them to hurt themselves. God forbid something happens with the wire, they get electrocuted or something. Or at the same time, what if this gets too hot and now they're sitting by the heat source directly and they get burned? So you just don't want them hanging on the wire, because anything and everything, if they can, they will try and find a way to climb it and chill. I've already caught him in the beginning when I first installed everything. So hasn't since, because I have fixed the issue, but I want to secure it a little more. So I will just have to show you tomorrow, but here's one zip tie so I can kind of show you how to zip tie the wire as tight as possible. So we're gonna have this here. Okay. We're gonna get the first screw. Now I'm just gonna do a screw at a time, but then you're just gonna wanna find the hole. You'll feel it under here. Take a bolt. Change plans. Apparently while it was hanging, it was not working. I should have gotten pliers. I will screw this first and then we'll worry about pliers. Because this time it's just not working the greatest. So you're gonna just push it through a hole. Why it's not screwing, I have no idea. Alright, so that was technical difficulty. But I got the screws into the bolt and now we can
Shouldn't the glass go first?
I'm placing them in the holes. That's it. Alright, now that they're placed in the holes, as my husband mentioned, glass first. I was just making sure they were in the holes. So, okay. Now, puppy, give me the stuff that you kicked. Give me all of that, please. And there's a bag under. Give me. Thank you. Okay. Oh jeez. Okay. So I did the tank differently this time. I can't use the tank to brace the doors to do this part. So I will be juggling. The Dubia tanks also come with a little lock, so you do not have to do what I did and buy one. I mean, it's inexpensive. It was like $1 off the site, but I have bought one because it doesn't tell you that it comes with a lock, but every tank comes with a lock. But I am going to be buying the key locks, the nice fancy metal ones that you can install on your doors. I rather just have something a little more sturdier because snakes can be very persistent, and the bigger they get, the stronger they get. And I'm not risking any of my babies escaping. Okay, so I only need 4 anyway. Okay. So these are the door handles. We are gonna just easily rip this plastic off. So as I mentioned, normally I would have used the tank on the inside to slide the glass doors in, braced it, and then right here installed the door handles. But since I sealed it so you guys can see, I can't do that, just so that way I don't get any other silicone on the doors. But, okay. There are these little holes here on the doors that you are going to install the door handles on. So it does come with a little rubber. Yeah. It's not sticking, but that's okay. Do this for a second. Butterfingers today. Okay. Don't want to drop that on the door. And you want to screw it just until you feel that it is firm. You don't want to go crazy tight and then you crack the door or anything. All right. I'm gonna leave the rubber there just so that way I can do this. And let's just do the other door. as you can tell, kids will be kids, so he had lost interest. But anyway, so now that I think about it, I had completely forgotten I should do this wire first so I can stick it. Second there, I thought it was crooked. Keep that. I'm not doing anything, Charlie. Now, then you take the wire and simply throw it out the hole. Put the doors first, and then we'll put the so you're gonna want to take the rubber off.
Oh, I have three. Sorry.
One in back, one in front. There goes your two doors. They're dirty. All right. Now we will slowly hammer down. Okay, now that's installed. Great. Everything's flushed. Now the only difficult part that may or may not take 2 people, so I will try here, but I'm gonna use a zip tie that came with the cable and the wire that's hanging. So yeah, one more zip tie will take care of the wire, and you can zip tie it up here, and then it'll all be flushed and come right down the wall and out this hole. So I'll just need to buy some zip ties. Now these are your air vents on top of the holes for your wires. So you're gonna unscrew these 2 pieces, and then this twist, you'll see, I don't know if you can see through them, but you'll see holes. So that's where your wire filters through. So there is a special little spot, pops right off. So you're just gonna feed your wire through this end all the way until you insert that piece into the hole. You're gonna take your other piece, sorry, I had a little detonate moment. Okay, you're gonna filter your wire through both pieces. Okay, and then you're gonna screw it on just like that. Now, I mean, this part is self-explanatory. You will just find the 2 divot holes, pick a hole you want the wire in, feed it through. Of course, it'll be better and easier once you zip tie, because then you can feed it perfectly into the hole. Hold the wire where you want it, so that way you can stick this piece thing I hate is trying to turn this piece so I can get it snug. If your snake really wants to. Unless I just stuck it in the wrong hole. I stuck it in the wrong hole. And that's why I couldn't turn it. And then you just turn it. And then just feed the wire. Try and get it. Okay. And obviously you have another one for over here. I am gonna pre-open the holes. You do not want all the holes out, because then that's when, or I should say all the holes open, because that's when the little clip piece will pop out. And believe it or not, your snakes are ridiculously strong and they will pop that out and come right out the vent. So you always want to make sure that these are sealed shut and that this is not in its little open hole here, that lock, where if you turn it all the way, all holes, and that just pops out. So you don't want that. Or you'll be trying to search for your little noodle somewhere in your vents, refrigerator, stove. I've heard some crazy stories, which I'd be happy to share in a video. I don't have any crazy stories because, cross my fingers, I hope it never happens to me, but I have not had an escapee. Have they glass surfed? Yes. But they have not opened the doors, or whether they've been attempting to, they have not escaped or opened the doors. So that's been good for me. I have not had an escapee. So, okay. Now, we'll do it tomorrow. I won't talk about it because it'll be touched on tomorrow. Hopefully I can try and get some zip ties. I'll also have a cleaning video because I do need to clean one of my girls' tanks over there. I like to try and do them monthly, but I do spot clean, so that's another conversation we'll do as we, make this home. But I'll also touch base. A lot of times I will touch base on spot cleaning, and either way, she's overdue. I've been wanting to touch up her enclosure anyway and change it, make it better, change her substrate, everything. So that will be another video as well of her cleaning and what I like to do. I've heard of people using other chemicals, but that'll be another conversation when I clean her tank that I will also bring up. Everyone does, things different, to each their own. But this is building the tank. This is what to do with the dubias. If you are interested, I can link at the bottom in my descriptions the dubia website, DUBIA, and they have all different size enclosures. So if you always want a PVC, and even if you buy a smaller tank to start, they have all different sizes. So I just never bought their enclosure until after I bought my girl and was upgrading to get their complete size. So I will definitely touch base on everything. I did mention that I will show the little princess on who we are building this enclosure for. This is her tank currently. Her beautiful little oasis. So she has outgrown it. I think she's literally nose to tail the full size of this tank. But in girth, she has grown, so she looks so big in this tank that I had to get her the bigger one. But excuse me. Hi, girl. Just gonna let her know that I'm here. I've still been doing her little humidity boxes, so that's another thing I could talk about in another video about shedding and what I mean about her humidity boxes, because sometimes she gets a little stuck shed right here. But this is my champagne bumblebee ball python. I will touch base tomorrow when building her little home. More details about her morph and more about her behavior. Right, girl?
Sorry, Dad.
But my baby girl, she is, let's see if I can get her to open up. Sometimes if I hold her like this, she'll slowly start to open up. But as you can tell, she is a big girl. Just from her girth, she's gotten so much bigger when she stretches out, because right now she's just coming out, so she's just not having it at the moment. She's a little slow on opening. But when she stretches out, she is really long. Here she goes. So she's really long. Like I said, she is the length of that 40-gallon, and that's why I wanted to get her full-grown tank to finally give her her home. Because when I got her, she was not this size. She could fit in my hand. A little exaggerate, because she wasn't perfectly in my hand. She was a bit bigger than my hand, of course, when she opened up. But she was way smaller than this. So she perfectly fit in that 40-gallon. But I will talk more about enclosures and her home tomorrow when we put together her new one. But this is Nagini, and she was my first. She's the one that got me started. And you will see more of her tomorrow. You say bye, Nagini? Yeah? Say bye.